Senators Chris Coons and James Lankford recently sat down to discuss the rising storm of political violence and online extremism in America. They highlighted how social media fuels division and how threats to public officials are on the rise, emphasizing the need for better security and respectful dialogue. The senators also touched on upcoming legislative battles like avoiding a government shutdown and fixing healthcare, stressing bipartisan cooperation. Finally, in California, Governor Gavin Newsom is taking bold steps to address the state's high energy costs. His new legislation aims to lower bills, secure energy supplies, and push for cleaner energy sources. While some doubt immediate price drops, these measures are part of a pragmatic plan to stabilize California's energy future and show Newsom's political savvy. Stay tuned for more updates. Please continue to watch for the full stories. The Ohio man, Carl P. Lewis, found himself facing a decade behind bars after orchestrating a brazen robbery targeting a federal investigation informant. In Cleveland, Lewis's reckless actions, demanding $2,500 for firearms, threatening violence, and struggling over control of the guns, were caught on video, revealing a disturbing blend of desperation and danger. His arrest came after authorities uncovered a cache of firearms, including rifles and pistols, emphasizing the perilous consequences of crossing the line into violence and criminality. Lewis's case underscores the ongoing risks associated with illegal firearm possession and violent encounters with law enforcement, serving as a stark reminder of the severe penalties awaiting those who threaten the safety of informants and the integrity of federal investigations. On Face the Nation, Senators Chris Coons and James Lankford grappled with the rising tide of political violence and the internet's role in fueling extremism. Coons lamented the tragic murder of Charlie Kirk during a debate, highlighting how social media algorithms amplify anger and division, making civil discourse increasingly difficult. Lankford echoed this concern, describing how online rage and cancel culture threaten personal safety and threaten to silence moderate voices, with threats against Congress members escalating alarmingly. Both senators emphasized the urgent need for bipartisan efforts to bolster security measures, including funding for protecting public officials, and called for a collective push to curb internet-driven violence and promote respectful political debate amidst a climate of growing threats and polarization. California's Governor Gavin Newsom is actively maneuvering to address the state's persistent energy and cost of living crises, with a legislative package aimed at stabilizing soaring electricity and gas prices. Amidst his national ambitions and a fierce political landscape, Newsom's reforms include measures to reduce utility costs and bolster energy supply, even as critics question whether these efforts will effectively lower prices or merely serve as short-term fixes. The legislation also reflects a strategic shift in his stance on oil drilling, as he now supports increased extraction to prevent refinery closures and stabilize fuel prices, an about-face from his previous environmental rhetoric. This move is part of a broader effort to rebrand California as a state that balances environmental goals with economic realities, attempting to appeal to moderate voters and counter Republican attacks on energy affordability, all while navigating the complex interplay of climate policy, economic pressures, and political survival. The Associated Press vividly recounts the life and legacy of Bobby Hart, a talented songwriter and producer who played a pivotal role in shaping the iconic sound of the Monkees. Hart, who co-wrote timeless hits like Last Train to Clarksville and the Monkees theme song, was instrumental in crafting the group's infectious melodies and distinctive style, often employing his own backing band, the Candy Store Prophets. His journey from a shy boy in Phoenix with a passion for music and amateur radio to a key figure in 1960s pop culture is marked by his collaborations with Tommy Boyce, their chart-topping successes, and their political activism, including campaigning for Robert F. Kennedy. Hart's influence extended beyond the Monkees, contributing to other hits and working with various artists, all while maintaining his personal integrity and love for music, as highlighted in his memoir and the 2014 documentary about his partnership with Boyce. CNN reports on Elon Musk's controversial appearance at a far-right anti-immigration rally in London, where he called for revolutionary government change in the UK. Musk's stark rhetoric, including warnings of violence and accusations that the left celebrates murder, underscores his increasingly provocative stance on political issues. His comments, made during a virtual Q&A with Tommy Robinson, a known far-right activist, reflect his long-standing engagement with UK politics, where he previously suggested civil war was inevitable and criticized British leaders. Musk's remarks have sparked widespread criticism from officials like Britain's business secretary, who dismissed his speech as inappropriate, yet they also reveal the deep divisions and heightened tensions surrounding immigration debates in Britain, amplified by large protests and police injuries during the rally. Yahoo US vividly captures the tense atmosphere in Los Angeles amid escalating immigration raids following a Supreme Court ruling that allows warrantless deportations and racial profiling. Immigrant communities, already worn down by months of sweeping arrests, now face an uncertain future as federal agents threaten to flood the zone with raids. The story details the fears of day laborers like Carlos Maldonado, who narrowly escaped recent ICE operations and now lives with the constant threat of detention. Volunteer groups and community organizers are stepping up efforts to protect vulnerable workers, providing legal information and patrolling neighborhoods to deter unlawful arrests. Despite legal setbacks and the risk of deportation, many immigrants continue to work, driven by the need to pay rent and support their families, illustrating their resilience and the ongoing struggle for safety and dignity amid an increasingly hostile environment. The Associated Press highlights the precarious landscape of free speech in the workplace, especially in the wake of Charlie Kirk's tragic death. As social media blurs the lines between personal expression and professional reputation, employees across the U.S. are increasingly vulnerable to losing their jobs for comments made outside of work. Legal protections are limited and vary by state, with most private sector workers operating under at-will employment, meaning employers can dismiss them for speech that might be protected elsewhere or considered disruptive. For instance, the Pentagon swiftly implemented a zero-tolerance policy against any military personnel celebrating Kirk's murder, illustrating how government institutions also clamp down on public expressions deemed inappropriate. Meanwhile, private companies are re-evaluating their policies, trying to strike a balance between free expression and maintaining workplace safety and brand integrity, especially amid heightened political polarization. The pervasive use of social media and digital communication tools has made it easier for employers to monitor and react to employees' online conduct, often resulting in disciplinary actions or terminations, regardless of whether the speech occurred on or off duty. As experts warn that the boundaries of acceptable speech are continually shifting, many organizations are now more vigilant than ever in policing political and social commentary to protect their reputation and ensure a safe, inclusive environment. In Missouri, political tensions have reached a boiling point within the state Senate, where Senator Lincoln Hough openly criticizes his party's leadership for undermining the core principles of legislative debate. During a recent special session aimed at gerrymandering and restricting voter-driven initiatives, GOP leaders aggressively shut down discussion, passing controversial bills through procedural maneuvers that eliminated the opportunity for debate. Hough, one of the few Republicans opposing these tactics, was publicly punished for his dissent, removed from his chairmanship of the Senate Appropriations Committee after voicing concerns about the erosion of legislative integrity. This incident underscores a broader trend of party discipline overriding democratic process, with Republican leaders orchestrating rules that stifle independent thought and debate, ultimately transforming the Senate into a procedural rubber stamp. Hough's outspoken criticism reflects a rare voice of dissent within the party, lamenting the decline of a once vibrant legislative chamber where policy was shaped through open discussion. As the session unfolded, the GOP's strategic use of unprecedented procedural moves, like shutting off debate entirely, highlighted their intent to push through partisan agendas swiftly, risking the dismantling of institutional norms and the marginalization of dissenting voices. The situation leaves many questioning whether the Missouri Senate's once robust debate culture can survive these aggressive tactics, casting a shadow over the state's democratic processes and the integrity of its legislative body. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.